Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. A mediocre 8-5 season is definitely better than a 5-7 season. But 2022 left Texas fans wanting more. The Longhorns had all 5 losses decided by 7 points or less, including a 1-point loss to Alabama, a 3-point loss to Texas Tech, and a 7-point loss to the eventual national runner-up in TCU. And the Longhorns ultimately fell by 7 to Washington in the Alamo Bowl. So Texas desperately wants and needs to get over the hump of mediocrity and be contending for Big 12 titles. And they definitely need to do it now in year 3 under Steve Sarkisian. Today, guys, the Texas Longhorns come in at number 17 in our way too early Gridiron Expert Top 25. And we're going to take a look at their schedule, see if Sarkisian can get his team over the hump. And maybe Texas could be this year's Cinderella team like TCU was last year. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, guys, because here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. The season never ends. Here at the Gridiron Expert, we're talking college football with you 24/7, 365, new videos just about every single day. We have schedule previews, game-by-game predictions, draft analysis, you name it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to produce it. This is the place for you. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future videos and become a part of our GE Nation. So let's take a look at Texas's schedule right now. You pull it up, and I will tell you right now that the key stretch for Texas is right at the beginning of the season. I think many would expect Texas to beat Rice. I think that's going to be pretty general consensus. They're going to beat Rice, more than likely. But then the key stretch comes right after that. Every game after that, leading into their bye week, with the exception of Wyoming, I think we can assume they'll beat Rice and Wyoming, is key in whether or not 2023 can be a great year for Texas or another mediocre year. Because you look at the games outside of the cupcake teams, at Alabama, at Baylor, Kansas, and then, of course, Oklahoma in Dallas. None of those are surefire victories. None of those are certainly surefire losses, but those are all going to be very, very tough games for Texas. And you look at what they did last year. At Alabama, they fell to the Crimson Tide by 1 point, some would say controversially, in Austin. So they almost beat Alabama and Austin last year. Now they have to go to Tuscaloosa. At Baylor, they beat the Bears 38-27, overcame a slow start, ended up winning by 11. They beat Kansas 55-14, but Kansas no longer a slouch in the Big 12 after making a bowl game in just year 2 under Lance Leipold. And they did crush Oklahoma 49-0 last year, although I think many of us would expect Oklahoma to be a little bit better in 2023 after a disappointing first year under Brent Venables. So when you look at those key games that we mentioned, Texas went 3-1 against those 4 tough games we mentioned. If Texas can manage to go 3-1 and against those teams again, they're more likely sitting at, 5-1, 6-1, heading into their bye week? They're looking really, really good. If they go 3-1, yeah, they'd be 5-1 heading into the bye week. That would be phenomenal for Texas. 5-1 would say a loss at Alabama would more than likely have Texas in the top 10, if not right on the outside looking in. But that is a far from a sure thing. I think Rice and Wyoming can be considered victories. Again, we're not here to predict anything yet. But Alabama, I think most would chalk up as a loss. Baylor on the road in Waco, not going to be easy, especially after disappointing 2022. I expect Dave Aranda to have his team back in a better spot in 2023. Kansas, again, no slouch. Last time Kansas came to Texas, they beat the Longhorns in Austin. And again, Kansas is slowly getting better. And then Oklahoma, big-time rivalry game. The Sooners certainly are going to remember that 49-0 beatdown they suffered, and I would expect a closer game this time around in Dallas. So, a lot of questions surrounding that opening stretch, and that's going to define Texas' season. If they're 5-1 or better, 5-1 or 6-0, sky's the limit. If they're 4-2, not ideal, but okay, can still make a run for the Big 12 title, especially if one of those losses to Alabama in the non-conference. 3-3, go ahead and phone it in. The season, to me, for Texas is lost. You know, you're not going to contend for a Big 12 title. You're not going to contend for a playoff spot. Really, 2 losses and the playoff hopes are done anyway. So, and that's what Texas obviously has their sights on right now, is a Big 12 title and a playoff hope. Can they get there? Tough schedule, tough slate. Those 4 games, Bama, Baylor, Kansas, Oklahoma, that's going to determine Texas' schedule. You will know the type of season Texas could have by the time they go into their bye week on October 14th. That's going to be key. You look at the Longhorns, guys. This is a team that has the talent, right? They're going to have a great quarterback either way, whether it's going to be Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning. They are expected to return about 9 starters back on offense, including 4 of their offensive linemen, 3 of their top wide receivers, 6 starters back on defense. The talent is there for the Longhorns. Can they implement it? Because when they come out of that bye week, it's a pretty favorable schedule. They take on 2 of the newcomers to the Big 12 back-to-back at Houston and BYU. Because remember, Houston, BYU, UCF, and Cincinnati all going to be joining the Big 12 this year. So they go to Houston, who loses a lot of key pieces from last year. They take on BYU, luckily at home, not in Provo. So interesting matchups there. They take on Kansas State, the reigning Big 12 champions. By no means an easy game, but the Longhorns get to host them. They get to host the Wildcats, and they beat them by 7 last year in Manhattan. Something to kind of keep in mind there. They go to TCU, who I expect would take a little bit of a step back. They fell to TCU 17-10 last year at home. So again, the offense just couldn't get anything going against that TCU defense. But again, TCU might be taking a bit of a step back. At Iowa State, Texas won by 3 last year. Cyclones should improve a little bit, but were not very good last year. And then Texas Tech, to round out the year, they lost to the Red Raiders by 3 in overtime, but it is going to be senior night. They're going to have the game at home. Red Raiders, they're in our top 25. We just did a video over them last week. They're going to be a tough out, but Texas does get to have them at home. So that back half of the schedule, those final 6 games, to me, not nearly as difficult as the first 6 games, especially those 4 that we mentioned. So again, if Texas goes into their bye week at 5-1, that's kind of the goal for them, then they could really, I could see them running the table over those final 6 games, if not going maybe another 5-1 there, which could put them at a double-digit win season and in the hunt for a Big 12 championship appearance. That is the expectation in Austin this year. Year 3 under Sarkisian, great talent coming in, great talent coming back. Favorable second half of the schedule. They just have to take care of business in the first half. Again, leave your comments down below. Tell us what you think Texas will go during that key stretch. Again, especially from September 9th to October 7th. What will the Longhorns' record be going into their bye week? What will their overall record be? Can the Longhorns go make the Big 12 championship this year? Or are they going to fall short once again? Which will either heat up Steve Sarkisian's seat even more, or possibly even see him getting booted out of Austin. So leave those comments down below, guys. Get ready. We're going to be predicting Texas' schedule very, very soon. You do not want to miss it. Predicting schedules and the record for every single team. But until then, guys, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, because here at the Gridiron Expert, the football season never ends. It never dies. We talk college football 24/7, 365, nonstop content here for you, and we want you to be a part of that GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.